with another edition of Doomsday Doopy Doo.
Hello.
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 We are back again. We missed last week because I screwed up. I screwed up in a couple of different places in a couple of different ways. First, I guess you said that we talked the past few shows. You said we're Rocky, Star Wars, and Nirvana.
Yeah, like at least the last three shows.
The last three. I don't recall that.
Okay.
But you're making me feel like we talk about too much. But I have to offer a retraction because I didn't make fun of, but I said that friends thought that the song Polly was about just Kurt having sex with Courtney.
But everybody knows that sex with Courtney is not nearly that interesting.
Which I said was incorrect, and I was correct. It's not correct. But then I said the song was about heroin.
Mm-hmm.
And there are several songs of his that I tend to think are about heroin that are technically about something else. But there's always that. I really feel that there's an underlying thing in a lot of his songs pertaining to that. Including what the fuck's the name of the song? Give me a second. Not Breed. Drain You.
Mm-hmm.
Is about a girlfriend that he broke up with, and she said to him, well, now it's my duty to completely drain you. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the lyrics in the song. But yet, if you listen to the lyrics, there's this yellow fluid, this going back and forth, my mouth to yours, like the mouth of a needle, the mouth of the vein. He seems to be drawing this parallel between heroin use and this girl.
But was he a heavy heroin user? Was that?
I mean, I know
Lane was clearly. I mean, when you listen to Lane,
mm-hmm.
when you listen to Alice, you get like he's clearly like permeated through the lyrics and just the tortured vocals. He's clearly
addicted to heroin. Yeah, I think Kurt was too.
Yeah.
He had massive stomach problems. He was addicted to opiates of some sort. He was taking them for the pain and then constantly complaining that this stomach pain wasn't going away. And the typical, pain, medication, addicted to the medication, pain doesn't go away, it doesn't, it's just this snowballing.
Yep.
So, that's definitely a big part of his life. When he killed himself, wasn't he full of heroin? I think that was a whole big thing with that Courtney, because he had enough heroin in his body to kill him like multiple times. And that's one of the reasons, that's one of the theories that they put forth, that he was actually murdered because he couldn't have had that much heroin in him and pulled the trigger. He would have passed out first. But that doesn't take into account, what's the word I'm looking for when you get used to it?
Tolerance.
Tolerance, thank you. So it's possible he had that much tolerance, which is a sick amount of tolerance, which would have meant a sick amount of fucking heroin use. I don't know the answer to that question, but Polly is not about that.
All right, so what's Polly about?
It could have been underlying.
Is it about being polyamorous?
No.
Oh, okay,
no,
sure.
It is sicker than that.
Okay.
It is way sicker.
Well, so, okay, let me ask you this, though. Where did you find this answer? Did Kurt Cobain tell you?
Yes.
He did, okay.
Well, he didn't. Yes, he did. He said it. I found a video that explains it, the song Polly, which claims that Polly is Nirvana's darkest song, which is a big claim.
Okay.
And then this showed some interviews where he's asked about the song, and he talks about it briefly. So, yes, it is about it. But he did also say Drain You was about this ex-girlfriend.
Okay.
There's these parallels being drawn. So I may still be sort of right, but...
Is this the video for the Nirvana's darkest song?
Oh, there you go. Polly, yep. I think that's the video, yes. It is about a story which he did a lot of songs like Frances Farmer Will Have Her Revenge. That song's about a murder case, I think, right?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. So a lot of this, he did some songs about things he read about in the newspaper. And this was a story of a man who kidnapped and tortured and raped repeatedly I believe a teenage girl, and used things like a blowtorch and tied her up and did all that stuff. And that's what Polly's about.
But he read this,
and then wrote
it disturbed him so deeply that he
wrote a
needed
song
to expel these demons that he had collected.
Well, I don't know. He needed to write a song about it. He wrote a song about it.
He did, though.
Right. And
she said she wants some water to put out the blowtorch.
Water and untie her, and her back hurts probably because he's been burning her with a blowtorch. It's like,
can't you clip my dirty wings?
And it isn't me. Have a seed. That's him like dropping loads inside of her while he rapes her. Yeah, it's fucking. It is pretty fucked up song. So I was.
But that's not to say you said that Polly was about what? About his relationship with Courtney?
No, his relationship with heroin.
With heroin. It could have also been that.
It could have also been on some.
This is where I think
level.
This is my only problem with your retraction.
I want to go into a Nirvana thing.
But we had that whole.
You said we shouldn't.
No, I didn't make fun of it, but I just said
you didn't. You said
at the end of it, the one thing I think we crystallize it with, is that art is subjective and that you take from it what you will, and that it has multiple meanings at multiple times, right?
Yeah.
Like he may have written it about that, but it could have also had parallels to something that meant something to him.
Right. That's what I liked about Drain You is that there's this certain poetry to it that it is this. He's comparing having a relationship with this woman to being addicted to heroin, and love and relationships can be that way.
Yeah, well, no, he's in a relationship with her, and he's in a relationship with heroin at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I may be partially right, but I feel I would be doing a disservice for not putting some sort of at least a partial retraction. If I find out I'm wrong, I want to admit it. I tweeted that I was wrong, at least pretty soon after.
Okay, yeah, I saw that you tweeted that you were wrong, but you didn't really explain.
I didn't explain it because I didn't want to get into it.
Okay.
And I felt like it's Twitter. No one gives a crap.
Probably true for most Twitter. Yeah.
Everyone's reading AOC's tweets and stuff, and how we're toxic white males.
Yeah.
Are you a toxic white male?
I am a toxic white male.
I know.
I'm also.
You are. I get that vibe.
It's funny that you mention that because no matter what I say, I'm considered a perv and a toxic white male, and that if I have any ounce of patriotism, I am a racist, and that's happened. That's happened over the past couple of years. You cannot be patriotic and not be racist.
I don't think that's true.
I'll give you a case in point. Chris Pratt was accused of being a racist.
Chris Pratt was accused of being a racist?
Because he wore a shirt with the American flag on it.
No.
The irony of it, the shirt that he wore with the American flag on it, I'll send you the link.
No.
I'll tweet you the link.
Tweet it. Tweet it on, and then I'll retweet it.
I'll tweet it.
No.
The irony of it was that the shirt that he was wearing that they accused him of being a racist for, because it had a flag on it, had a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King on the back of it, of which nobody saw. And this is a part of the political shit that's going on right now. If you are patriotic, you are automatically racist. You can't be proud of this country and the history of this country.
You really think that?
I think absolutely, yes.
I don't get that vibe. I guess I kind of understand it a little bit.
The clip that I'm going to send you is a Fox News clip, but I wouldn't discount it because it's Fox News.
Because it has to do with Chris Pratt. This Chris Pratt you're talking about?
It started, my way into it was Chris Pratt. I'm like, Chris Pratt, I read an article that said Chris Pratt is a racist. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, what's going on? Chris Pratt's like running around like doing like Sieg Heils or what the fuck's happening?
Yeah, he doesn't strike me as a racist.
He doesn't, right? He lives in California. He's an actor. That's very liberal environment.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show you how...
And he's like, every interview I've read of him, he's like so super like down to earth.
And he's
cool.
like pro-women. And I don't know. It just seemed crazy.
Yeah, it seems crazy.
But it just goes to show you how I think... I hate talking about politics, but I think...
Well, you brought it up. What was I talking about? How did this come... I said AOC.
Yeah. So my father-in-law turned me on to something because there's all this talk about these women that Trump like smashed, right? These was like 6 women that he told to leave the country. You remember that whole story?
Yes.
And so my father-in-law was showing me this stuff, and he's like really big into Fox News, and he's very right-wing.
Are you going to get us into trouble right now?
No, I don't think we're going to get in trouble. But there was one of the things that really struck my interest, because it was one of the ladies said something like, the quote was, "The Holocaust gives me a warm feeling."
What?
Yeah. So I'm like,
wait a minute. No.
Yeah, I'm telling you that it happened, dude. So he
you have to send me. No, I need.
I'll send you the quote, because I listened to the live.
Yeah, but is the quote
the actual person's voice saying what she said?
But it's completely edited or out of context?
I don't know if it's edited. I can't say that part. But I'm like, so he showed it to me, and I'm always very skeptical of this.
You have to be.
I'm skeptical of the
anything on the
right-wing
internet
stuff, as I am about the left-wing stuff.
If it's on the internet, you have to be immensely skeptical.
I said, let me hear this interview, and who knows if it's edited or not. But I'm like, how could you say that the Holocaust gives you a warm feeling and be misconstrued? Because it's pretty, I don't know, dude. So I'm thinking,
well, if it's pulled out of a larger sentence, then
maybe. And my first thought was, this has to be taken out of context. But then I listened to 3 different recordings of what this lady said. And if these are all not edited, I have to believe that she said...
What was said?
She was more or less like...
Let's get full trouble right now.
She was more or less like the Jews had it coming.
Get the
dude, I'm not even playing with you what I heard, because I pushed him on it, and I said, show me the clip. And I'm like, you know what? On the internet, I go to 3 different places, and I listen to 3 different clips.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been just some fucking 4chan guy.
Maybe.
Just
dude,
like messing with audio.
If what I heard was right, in 3 different places from 3 different sources.
Right, but it could have been
she
the same
said
clip.
More or less, and she kind of danced. It was artfully done, what I heard.
No, but the quote you just said is not artfully anything. It's plain as day.
No, what I said was she more or less said the Jews had it coming, but she danced around that. The
quote was... you look up the quote.
I'll play the video for you. It was unbelievable when I heard it, because I'm thinking, who kind of a politician would say
can't get away with that.
Even remotely anything close to that? So I pushed him, and I said, dude, play me the thing.
I don't believe it.
Play me the voice of this woman. And he played it for me, and I'm like,
I don't believe it.
I'm like, it had to be taken out of context.
I don't believe it.
And even when I listened to it, I listened to it twice, and I'm like,
it can't be. This is a congresswoman.
I'm gonna type the Holocaust.
I don't believe it.
Gives me a warm feeling.
No, my God. Yeah, type that in. That's good for your internet history.
Whatever. Let them come fucking get me.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus
what
Christ.
were we talking? We were talking about Kirk. Oh my God, Lord knows. I would love to read off the results that you got in Google for that.
This is scary. Rashida Tlaib and her twisted comments about the Holocaust.
Okay, and what is, and
there's a million of them here, and it's all her standing there. Let me see if I can turn.
Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib is pushing back against Republican accusations of anti-Semitism after making some controversial comments.
So she's pushing back.
Holocaust during a podcast interview, speaking on Yahoo.
Okay,
on a
podcast interview.
Tlaib discussed the creation of the state of Israel in 1948 and noted the violence against
Yeah.
possession of Palestinians, according to her, that accompanied its founding.
So listen.
Okay, let's hear it.
Palestinians who lost their land and some lost their lives, their livelihood, their human dignity, their existence in many ways.
I don't know if this is coming through.
Some people's passport. I mean, just all of it was in the name of trying to create a safe haven for Jews post the Holocaust, post the tragedy and horrific persecution of Jews across the world at that time. And I love the fact that it was my ancestors that provided that.
So besides those words about a safe haven for Jews, she
What
also
she
said that she experienced, quote, a kind of calming feeling when I think of the Holocaust and the tragedy of the Holocaust and the fact that it was my ancestors, Palestinians, who lost their land and some lost their lives, their livelihood, their human dignity, their existence in many ways had been
So here's what I'll say.
Dude.
She didn't
That's fucking
say
bullshit, dude.
But there was
Where's the quote of her saying that? How come they didn't?
They didn't play that there, which is I don't know why.
He just paraphrased the whole thing and edited it all
something
together.
More general. But I did hear the quote where she went on to say that, and I don't know why they didn't play it, because it was right after that.
If she would have said that, they would have played it.
It was
if those words would have came out of her mouth, that would be on Fox News every 3 minutes.
Comments about the Holocaust made by Michigan Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib.
Let's see if this one plays it.
During an interview on a podcast. Our Steve Garagiola shows us what was said.
fucking podcast.
Podcasts are like bad news, man.
Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib's comments came in the context of the conflict between Israelis and Palestinians. At one point, she
Is this? Can anyone hear this?
immediately after the Holocaust.
I hope so.
Put the mic near the.
calming feeling I always tell folks when I think of the Holocaust and the tragedy of the Holocaust.
The tragedy of the
fact
Holocaust.
that it was my ancestors, Palestinians, who lost their land and some lost their lives, their livelihood, the human dignity, their existence. In many ways, have been wiped out.
Critics immediately condemned her use of the word
What is she? What is she answering there? That kind of is like a weird.
It was at the beginning of the other quote, so it begs a question what she's talking about. But it's I think her turn of phrase is weird.
No, but like in other words, we could have. Let me just. Let me just turn this right.
And I think about the calming. I get a calming feeling,
right?
Because my ancestors were persecuted by Jews.
No, she didn't say persecuted.
She says kicked out of their land. Who kicked the Palestinians out of their land?
Right. No, but what question is she answering?
I don't know.
So
I don't know.
Is there some sort of implication there?
I don't know.
That the Palestinians.
I wonder what podcast it was.
That this was. No, I don't. That's not good enough.
It's really weird, but I just don't.
Because
I don't think you can say Holocaust.
What if
calming feeling in the same sentence?
Yes, you can. Okay, I'm going to give you.
You can?
One. Okay, let me give you one.
What?
What if your ancestors were persecuted by
and they were
by some sort of no wait I'm not saying this.
But they were.
Let me put this in context. This is a purely hypothetical, right? I'm going to build a quote that's going to be taken completely out of context and sound horrific, but it has a completely different meaning. I don't know that this is what it was about, but I'm going to give you an example where this could have been said.
Okay.
So your people are persecuted by another people, right? Let's say. And then those people start to be persecuted, right? And your people, let's say, came to the defense of those people, and the Holocaust or some sort of horrific event happens in spite of your people's attempt at interference.
Okay.
So then you could get a warm feeling or some sort of decent feeling about your own people, knowing that even though that you were persecuted, you stuck up for them in this time of need.
So you're saying,
and then you would feel good about what your people did in terms of the Holocaust, not that the Holocaust itself gives you a warm feeling.
But let's talk about what the Holocaust was.
I don't know if that's what she's saying, but that's an example.
But okay, but here's the thing.
Because I don't hear our whole. They don't play the guy's question.
Okay, regardless,
they don't play the first minutes before that or the minutes after.
You're right. I have never heard the question that led into that comment.
And fucking media does it all the fucking time on both sides.
The video that I saw though was her moving her lips and saying what she said,
right?
Regardless of what was asked. But when you talk about the Holocaust was what?
The Holocaust was like genocide.
Was the Germans killing the Jews and massive amounts of people? Okay.
Yes.
So, under what circumstance could you have any good feelings about the Holocaust, regardless of what your people did? Assuming, per your statement, the Palestinians did anything to the Jews. The Palestinians and the Jews didn't interact till after the Holocaust.
No, that's not true.
The Holocaust happened in World War II.
Right.
And the Jews didn't displace the Palestinians until the late 60s and 70s.
Yes.
So
they didn't displace them, but they were like, there wasn't there.
There was no feeling, but there was no negative. The negative feelings that the Palestinians have now didn't exist in the 50s.
They were kind of fighting each other for a long time, I think.
Were they?
Yeah.
The Israelis.
I think I took a Middle Eastern class at NYU and I failed it. But.
So, I mean, I don't know. I'm the same. I agree with you. When I heard it and my father-in-law told it to me, I was like, there's no way anybody said that. But then when I hear it, I just have a hard time finding how she said what she said and it not be as bad as they're saying it to be.
I don't like nitpicking speech.
Okay.
Based off of clips.
No, it can be put
in on either end of the aisle. Like I don't agree with it. It's
Maybe
it's disingenuous.
Maybe it is just rookie speaker. Like she's just a rookie speaker, and she said something like, "You can never say Holocaust and warm feeling in the same sentence." Because I don't think anyone should have a warm feeling about the Holocaust. And maybe it is, and maybe this is a part of the overall media war that we're all being besieged with. Like,
yes,
from both sides.
Yes, absolutely.
And maybe that is, but at the same time, I'm like. I was looking at what was being put in front of me, and I was like, how the fuck could somebody say that and it be misconstrued? That seems pretty black and white.
Right.
When I listen to it, I go, if I believe this, and my internet theory is listen to something from 3 different places, and if you hear the same fucking thing...
Yeah, but no,
I mean,
that's kind of not enough, because you have to hear the whole thing.
So what?
From 3 different places. I think... because I follow AOC on Twitter. She's constantly, she doesn't shut up. But she said something, and I called her out. No one answers me ever on Twitter. No one's going to ever answer me on Twitter, especially if you make sense. They're definitely not going to answer you. But it had to do with what just recently, it was a weather-based event that occurred, and then she started toting her whole climate change thing, like immediately after. I wish I could remember what it was. And I called her out. I said, wait a minute, because when it's cold out, right, and Trump goes, where's global warming? It's freezing outside, right? They say, you idiot, weather has nothing to do with climate. But then here it is the other way. And now it's like this hot event, and now you're claiming climate change. So I said, wait a minute, I thought weather doesn't equal climate. Rise. If you're going to be this person who's supposed to be rising above this, then fucking rise above it. Don't go back down to that same level. Don't use the same argument that you condemned last month. You know, it's all bullshit. But how did we get here? From Kurt Cobain's Polly. Anyway, last time we missed the show because I had a fishing trip.
Missed that shitty conversation.
Yeah, we I think we were supposed to record last Friday, but I had booked a fishing trip with my father-in-law and just completely forgot about it. And I think did we miss the Friday before? Maybe I don't know what it was. I don't know how we screwed up the Fridays. But anyway, I went.
Well, I think it was supposed to happen that Friday, and then
that was the Friday we were scheduled.
And we talked about moving it to Sunday, and it didn't work out because I was having my problems.
Okay, so yeah. Oh, sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, and maybe
Jesus Christ.
I shouldn't try.
Jesus Christ.
Maybe I shouldn't try and open this now.
Jesus Christ. Crack that cocksucker open.
Okay.
So you went fishing in Brooklyn.
I went fishing, yeah, Sheep's Head Bay.
Yeah.
Brooklyn, New York. The night before, we went to Randazzo's. Have you ever been to Randazzo's?
Negative.
No?
Randazzo's.
No. Okay. You got to go to Brooklyn. You got to go to Randazzo's Clam Bar in Sheep's Head Bay. We sat down to eat. I ordered the combo. And this is like this place has been there for, 100 years probably. During Hurricane Sandy, it was underwater. One of the boats, those fishing charter boats, was resting up against the restaurant. It was and those boats are, you're a Navy guy, so it's probably small to you, but to a regular person, like a 50-foot boat, 60-foot boat, resting up against a restaurant. That's what went on during Sandy. Anyway, this place has been around way before that and still there after it. But it's Brooklyn, New York, Italian. It's Randazzo's. It's kind of hard to explain. You go in there, and even the waitresses, they're older Italian women. I ordered the combo, which is fried shrimp, mussels, fried galamà. And the galamà. Scungil,
yeah.
With hot sauce.
That's the octopus,
With
right?
the hot tomato. With the
squid.
hot.
Is it octopus or squid?
Scungil is like no. Scungil is like a. Not a snail. It's like a mollusk of some sort.
Is it like the fruit de mare? The fruit de mare?
Scungile. I don't know if it's scungile. Scungile?
Scungile, yeah.
Comes sometimes
No,
in a
I
can.
had a dude, Carmine Sardella, who was in my boot camp with me, used to call me Scungile all the time.
He's called scungile?
Yeah, he called me Scungile.
Well,
He's
you
got a
live...
Scunel. He called me
Yeah,
Scungile.
Okay, well, I think it's a mollusk. He was calling you a mollusk of some sort.
Fuck that guy then.
Yeah, fuck him.
All these fucking years.
Yeah.
Carmine, you're a fucking cocksucker.
And he's put in a plate, and then they put freaking super hot tomato sauce on top of it, and they take a frizzelle, I think it's called, or I forget what. I think it's a frizzelle. Frizzelle. It's like a biscuit looking thing. It's like it looks like a piece of bread that's been toasted, but it's thick and it's hard as a rock.
Like bruschetta.
It's hard as a rock, though. Like you go to an Italian bakery and buy them, and you can't eat it. That's how hard it is. It's hard, stale. It's like a rock. But what you're supposed to do with it is you're supposed to soften it with something that you're eating with it. So what they do is they take like a little fish broth, and they lay a little fish broth over it, and then they hit it with the hot tomato sauce. And you kind of cut into a piece of this frizzelle and some scungile, and you eat it. And it's fucking outrageous. But you should go there. Okay. I guess is what I'm saying. Okay. The waitresses, it's not like, your waitress is a middle-aged... No, she's like a past middle-aged Italian lady. Is what she's going to be. And she's not like, we ordered wine and it didn't come. And then the appetizers came out and we're eating the appetizers. And I said, I ordered some wine. She was, oh yeah. I didn't bring it yet. And she left. And my wife's looking at me like, yeah, you didn't bring it yet. But it was kind of, we know you didn't bring it yet. But it's just that kind of like, that little bit of that attitude. But the food is excellent. That was the night before. If you're in Sheepshead Bay, hit Randazzo's is like I said, what I'm saying. And then I went fishing, and they had to come back to drop me off. Because I almost puked. And not just the puking I could have handled, but for some reason it was going to come out the other end. And that's what they were concerned about, because I couldn't go into the bathroom, because supposedly if you go below deck, again, you're a Navy guy, but you know what, on those boats, do those boats rock at all?
Yeah, I mean, I was on a destroyer, so if we went to the forecastle, which is the front part of the ship. The forecastle is like the front part of the ship, the bow of the ship. Is the forecastle or the forecastle is what it looks like when you write it out. That part bobs up and down a lot more than the back part, so you will get more seasick.
Okay, yeah. Have you ever gotten seasick on a boat? On the Navy?
The first time I went out, I got ridiculously seasick, and it was mostly because they were fucking with me, and then I never got seasick again. When we would go into the Persian Gulf, it was so smooth that like people would forget their sea legs, I guess is the term that we would use for it. Right. And you would not get used to the constant rocking, but yeah. No, I mean, you get...
What happens in Navy, guys? Like, what if you sign up for the Navy and you go, because this would be me. I sign up for the Navy. They put me on a boat. I'm out there an hour and I'm puking. It's like, this is too bad for you, right? Or do they give you Dramamine or something? Or?
They give you can have patches and stuff, and some people can be bedridden. I mean, there's been times where we've seen seas that are so bad they told us to stay in our racks. But
doesn't that make you more, being below deck, doesn't it make you more nauseous?
No, I mean...
Because that's what they were telling me.
So it depends.
They're blaming me, essentially.
We had berthings that were in the fore part of the ship.
What's a berthing?
A berthing is where you sleep.
Okay. Could have just said that.
There are berthings in the front part of the ship and in the rear part of the ship.
Okay.
For me, they were always in the rear part of the ship, so the pitching wasn't so bad. The rolling was bad, but the pitching, the up and down, was not so bad.
It was not so bad.
But the first division people, the topsiders, the bosun mates and stuff like that, they would sleep in the front part, and they would get the
pitching.
And I also had two shops. I had a forward shop and an aft shop. Nobody ever sat in the forward shop when it was rough. Everybody sat in the aft shop because it wasn't so pronounced, the pitching. This is what fucks you up, dude.
The up and down?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you're on a small ship, you're like...
Yeah, it's everywhere.
It's every axis, yeah. And I would get sick on those too. You just have to be used to it. Your body's not. I mean, if you get at all car sick, you're gonna get seasick like a fucking dog.
Yeah, well, I get car sick if I'm in the back seat and or if I'm reading in a car, I get car sick. If I'm in the back seat or if I'm facing the wrong direction, like if I'm in the back facing the rear, like I've been in like a pickup truck looking out the back, I get seasick from that. I get motion sickness from that. But yeah, I was okay with throwing up. I was like, all right, I'm going to throw up. I'm going to just stick it out. I've done that before. I might have told that story, I think, on a different podcast, but I've thrown up multiple times on boats. I'm okay with it. I mean, I'd rather not, but I'm all right with it. But what was happening was coming out. It was going to come out the other end. And I said, all right, I got it. And they're like, no, you can't go in the bathroom. You'll be even more sick. So they kind of like had to turn me around, and I had to do my business at the marina, which was
also
nice.
Horrific.
It was pretty horrific. Yeah. I felt bad that
nobody wants to take a shit at the marina.
Well, I felt bad they had to drive back, but luckily we were only like maybe 15 minutes out.
How did the kids do with all that? Everybody else was great.
Nothing. Yeah. Absolutely nothing. It was just me.
It's funny because when your body gets older, you just don't cope with that shit the way. I don't know how I would cope with it.
It was fucking awful.
And I used to do deep sea fishing with my aunt every time I went through Hawaii. We went out there. It was fucking crazy deep sea fishing. Mm. And I would get sick sometimes. I wouldn't get sick other times. It's really 50-50. But
the fishing was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I was out there for a good hour and a half, 2 hours, sticking it out. But towards the last 20 minutes before they started going back, I was of no use. Like my son reeled in a shark as he's reeling it in. My father-in-law's going to help him, and I'm just standing like at the back of the boat, just holding onto the ladder. I'm just like not moving. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't. If I fucking move, I'm gonna throw up, and I'm gonna come. It's gonna come out all over the place, all over this boat. I said, I'm sorry, I have to kind of sit still. And that's kind of what I was doing. But yeah, he brought up a shark, and then the guy some guy we were with, he tried to,
what kind of shark?
He was a baby thresher shark.
Thresher shark. Okay. So they had the long tail on the top. And
yeah.
They're not super aggressive either.
No, not at all. And this guy tried to break its neck.
Well, it's funny because I was in the store and I was in the fish section and I was showing the boys all this stuff, and I pulled the fucking club. I'm like, you know what this club is for? They're like, what? I'm like, you beat the
bonk and bleed.
Beat the shit. You beat the shit out of the fish when you pull it up because you want to kill it. And actually, it's funny.
It doesn't kill it. It just stuns.
Well, it stuns it, but then you drop it on ice and it fucking ends up basically asphyxiating because it can't breathe air. It's like water, and you freeze it so that you can fillet the fucking thing.
Well, what I told my kids was the proper. I think from what I've read and from what I've seen, the proper way to when you bring a fish up, and there's all sorts of methods of dealing with the fish when it comes up. There's Japanese methods where they thread like this thin wire through its spine to like just try to make the flesh as tasty as possible by reducing adrenaline and all this stuff, any stress hormones that could be happening in the fish. But what I've read to do is the bonk and bleed. So you pull the fish up, and you bonk it on the head, and then you slit its gills with a sharp knife.
Yep.
And you put it head down into a bucket and let it bleed out while it's still alive. The heart's still bleeding. The blood's flushing out of the fish. It dies quickly and doesn't.
Just like bleeding out a pig. It's the same fucking thing.
And
the gills are where all the blood flows.
Right. Then you squeeze out that last bit of blood and you throw it in ice.
Yep.
And then you're good to go. Well, it was a little disturbing watching my kids chase fish around with a little bat. By the way, it was a Trenton Thunder bat. We called it the Thunder Stick.
That's disturbing.
Yeah, and when the shark got on the deck, and my son James, who's 5, is chasing it around trying to club it on the head. I'm like, James, like they didn't know that it's not a keeper, And that's kind of what was a little upsetting. You know, you don't bonk something.
So it turned into like a fucking Lord of the Flies situation. Like, kill the pig.
Yeah, they were like killing
its throat.
Yeah,
bash it in.
Yeah, they were becoming this violent. I was like, what's going on here? This isn't what this was for, you know? Yeah. And the guy we were with, not my father-in-law, but his friend was not helping matters, but he was trying to snap its neck. And there was like bleeding out its gills, and then what it was eating before was coming out of its mouth. I'm like, what the fuck is going on over here? This is not. But I had a little talk with Nicholas after. I said, if you're keeping the fish, you deal with it in the most humane way possible. If you're not keeping the fish, you treat it humanely and carefully, and you set it free. You don't fucking chase it around the boat. You don't try and break its neck. You don't. You know, because they ended up, the guy ended up after like fucking torturing this freaking baby shark, like, and just throwing it back in the ocean. I think he had some sort of hatred for sharks. I think he misunderstood.
There's a stigmatism with sharks. Yeah, because when I was a kid, we caught lemon sharks and stuff, and you can't really eat them. There's not much you can do.
No, they urinate out their skin.
Yeah, there's nothing to it. But and we used to catch mullet when I was a kid in a cast net. And when you catch a mullet...
Well, that's good bait, isn't it?
But you know what you do with a mullet when you catch it?
No.
You break its fucking neck with your hand.
Well, that's what this guy was doing.
That's a part of fishing, though, dude, unfortunately. I mean, even when... So, we went down...
why do you break its neck with...
Because you put it out of its misery by breaking its neck, and then you throw it in the fucking ice.
This guy did not break its neck. He was just twisting its head relentlessly, and the blood was coming out of its
Well, then he
gills.
was inefficient. You got to break its neck, yeah.
He wasn't, I guess. And this guy's fishing a long time.
I mean, I saw a guy. We were at the birthday that we went out to on the water taxi, and there was a guy filleting fish that were marginally still alive. I mean, think about that, dude. Think about that, dude. The fish
I've seen that. I've seen that
alive.
too. That's messed up.
I'm like, oh man, this is some.
That's pretty dark stuff.
This is some Hannibal Lecter shit, right?
Yeah,
here.
I mean, fucking bonk it and bleed it out. That's not that hard to pull a fish up, hit it in the head, slit its gills, put it in the thing, and it just dies, and then throw it on ice. That's not hard.
No, yeah. I mean, I just think different people have different approaches, and it's easy to, like you said, your kids are going to learn from what's going on. If the guy's like just brutally like.
Yeah,
holocausting.
You had
fish.
to see him holocausting the shark.
Yeah, they're holocausting the shark. Yeah.
No, he was. It looked like he was strangling it, and like there was blood dripping down his hands and onto the deck. I'm like, what? Like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, just he could have just taken it off the hook and just put it back in the water. That's all he had to do.
Yeah.
You want to take a picture with it because it's a shark? Okay, quick picture. Hold it by its belly. Take your picture.
How big was a fucking shark, dude?
It was about like maybe a foot and a half.
Yeah,
like
that's a baby shark.
It's a baby shark.
Baby shark. Mommy shark.
Exactly.
Baby.
But we caught a couple.
The baby shark's fucking throat.
I caught a bluefish, and Nicholas caught two flukes. James caught a fluke and a shark. Those had to go back. Nicholas's two flukes and my bluefish we were able to keep, and we beer battered them and fried them up into nice sandwich. And that was pretty good. But that's kind of why we missed last week. It's my fault.
Well, it's not just your fault because we were going to
I would
record
apologize,
on Sunday,
but I'm not going to.
And I was really sick I was having an allergy attack.
And what happened to you? Because you said you went and got medicine or something.
Well, I eventually went on. It was like Tuesday. I mean, I couldn't even swallow. I was traveling to the city. I don't know how the fuck. My throat was so. My glands were so aggravated from just constantly the postnaze. You know.
I've been getting that too. What the fuck is that,
dude? The air. I don't know how you go to the city. I look at my watch and it says unhealthy.
It does?
Yeah.
The Apple Watch can.
It tells you air quality.
Yeah. It does,
and it says unhealthy.
It has sensors, or is that like a?
I think it's coming from the internet, but
it's coming from like a web.
Every single time I'm in the city, it says unhealthy, dude. Even sometimes here. So I wasn't taking stuff, and I was kind of like intermittently taking stuff and not really paying attention to my allergies.
But wait, Can you take something to get rid of something that's supposedly unhealthy? Like, how do you?
Well,
you can't take a medicine to protect you from unhealthy.
Yeah, you
air.
can. You could take like a Flonase, or you could take like an Allegra.
That doesn't make the air healthy.
But it will stop your reaction to the
unhealthy air.
Because if you have allergies.
Oh, so it's an allergy. It's not necessarily unhealthy air.
Well, because it has a tremendous amount of whatever in the air, and it's affecting you. So you can take a antihistamine.
Yeah.
You could take a whatever, because it was just drip, and my throat was like really junked up. So I couldn't talk. So Sunday I was on the couch.
Just 2 days in the city.
Yeah. 2 days a week in the city for the past 2 weeks. Yeah. Plus, I don't know. I just think generally the air quality's been bad, even in Jersey. So I don't want to go outside. I don't want to go outside. Like,
but the air quality is supposed to be worse inside.
No, because the AC is what takes all that shit out of the air. The filters and everything will take the stuff out of the air. So I've been inside for like a week and a half, trying not to go outside and get affected by my allergies.
Huh.
So
what medicine you got? Antihistamines?
I was taking Allegra and stuff like that.
Allegra.
But before that, I really wasn't taking anything. I was like, whatever. And I was ignoring it. It just got worse and worse and worse. So I ended up with an upper respiratory infection.
You can get upper respiratory infection from allergies.
Yeah, from the post-nase drip to the point that it's just sitting here in your chest.
Yeah, well, I've been feeling that way for a while. And that's what that is. So okay.
I got a Z-Pack and I got some...
What's a Z-Pack?
It's like an antibiotic.
Oh.
Because I had an infection.
And it washed it away?
It helped me, yeah. Helped me a lot. I could talk now. Before I was like, my voice was like... so raspy.
Really?
Yeah, it was bad. So I laid on the couch on Sunday, and with every intention of coming, I was binge watching The Boys, because I was telling you should watch that, even though you said it looked terrible.
It didn't look terrible. It looks immensely terrible.
It's not. It's not terrible. It's really good.
That guy in the freaking USA outfit looks like a fucking dope.
He's supposed to look like a dope.
I don't get that.
So The Boys, the idea of The Boys, which is a great comic, is that you have the Seven. The Seven are essentially the Justice League. Like, you have the Homelander. That's the guy you're talking about. You have the Deep, who's Aquaman. You have the A-Train, who's the Flash. And you think about this world where you have these people that are super powered. They are being run by corporations, and they're all fucking...
Run by corporations?
And they're all fucking douchebags.
Why are they run by corporations?
Well... For me to answer that question, I would spoil the entire show. But basically, they're sponsored by the corporation.
Sounds like Watchmen.
It's very similar to Watchmen, which, by the way, we should talk about the Watchmen HBO show, and we should watch that.
We should watch that.
Because the Watchmen HBO show is post-Watchmen comic, just so you know.
Oh,
so Jeremy...
It takes off from after that whole thing goes down?
Jeremy Irons...
And wait a minute.
Jeremy
Alan Moore
Irons,
agreed to this shit?
Yeah. Alan Moore, first of all, Alan Moore doesn't agree to anything.
He doesn't agree to... That's what I'm going to say. How did they even fucking get it on the air?
No,
Isn't that his IP?
It's his characters, yes. But,
right.
But that's the whole point. I think he has to agree to it. I think he has that... You ever hear the thing, "Methink you thou doth protest too much"? Like, he had to sell something to somebody that let them do it. But then he was like, fuck, you guys are doing this to my shit, like, as an artist.
Yeah,
like,
sometimes I feel like he's a little bit like that. Like, he's pissed off that about the movie, but then they wouldn't have been able to do the movie unless you gave him permission.
Exactly.
Right?
So the starving artist sold off his shit.
He sold it off, and now he's pissed off that what they're doing with it.
Yes.
Well, then why'd you sell it?
And I love Alan Moore, and I think he's a fucking genius.
He is a fucking genius.
Absolutely.
That's what's the problem.
But I like the concept of the show, and I'm willing to go with the concept of the show, which is post-Watchmen. So Jeremy Irons is... Well,
Jeremy Irons,
you know who he's playing, right?
I'm going to watch it if Jeremy Irons is in it.
He's playing Ozymandias as old Ozymandias.
Old Ozymandias?
It's fucking great, though, right? Think about that. Jeremy Irons, it's perfect.
That should be good.
It's like I'm saying.
And where is this? Is this Amazon, Netflix? What is it?
HBO. Just straight up HBO.
Okay.
Yeah. So it interests me because I think, wow, what a great... I'm like, they're doing Watchmen.
And Alan Moore do any of the writing?
I don't think so, no. But I don't know that it matters. I think there are a lot.
Well, it matters immensely. If he wrote it, it's going to be good.
Maybe. But if George Lucas wrote the next Star Wars movie, would it be good?
No.
Okay, so
no, definitely not.
I don't know that we could. Alan Moore has written a lot of good stuff, but I don't know that we can assume everything Alan Moore wrote was genius. So I don't know.
Well, I don't think. Well, he wrote a lot of good stuff.
I mean, Watchmen was something that he wrote at a time that what he wrote resonated with everybody, right?
Right.
It was right on the edge of Gen X, right? We were like, fuck everything, fuck the world. What does it fucking matter? We're all going to
What
get
is a
nuked
fucking
anyways.
superhero? Fuck these fucking guys.
But that's The Boys too, though. And that's why I think you would like it. The Boys are not the superheroes. The Boys are the guys who are like...
Who are trying to fight the superheroes.
So it's worse than that. So let me tell you the opening scene of the movie. There's a guy named Huey who's talking to his girlfriend on the street, professing his love to her. They're talking about their future together, and all of a sudden she basically fucking explodes in his hands.
Okay.
And he's holding her hands, and she explodes.
Okay.
Because some superhero that's essentially the Flash ran through her at high speed. And he's like... Okay, and then the company comes to him and says, "Hey, Huey, sign this contract. We're going to give you $45,000 and everything will be great." And they're just trying to write the whole thing off because they don't want the hero to be liable for the fact that, like, it puts a realistic, like, spin on this stuff.
The idea of a superhero in real life, and the idea, which is what The Watchmen is about, is the idea of a superhero existing is actually terrifying.
And the Boys are these guys who are like, there's all these supes who think they're above the law because they have all these powers. And we're here to be like, no, fuck you. You got to fucking pay. And that's the Boys. Like, it's all about revenge. Everybody on that team has been fucked over by the supes or by the corporations that control the supes. And it's out there, dude. It's fucking out there. Shane watched it. He fucking loved it. I watched it. You know what?
All right, I'll watch.
The first 6 episodes were great. The last 6 were a little bit flimsy, but overall, knowing the comic, I was very happy with what they did. It was very good.
I didn't read the comic. I didn't even realize it was a comic.
It was, yeah. It was Garth Ennis, another Garth Ennis comic, which was really good. It's because it's very, once again, very subversive in that, like, this idea that if you were a person with that kind of power, the Homelander, the guy in the uniform you're talking about, is essentially, he's fucking Superman.
Right.
But imagine that you're Superman and you have that kind of power and you don't have the moral base
Dr. Manhattan.
It's the same, but not really, though, because Dr. Manhattan is elevated because he knows everything constantly, right, in all times.
Dr. Manhattan is a Superman.
But think of a guy who's just Superman, who has those abilities, but doesn't have the moral compass that Superman has.
But even with the moral compass, that's what made the Watchmen brilliant. Is that the moral compass didn't matter.
Well, I think the Watchmen is a stepping stone for the Boys because the whole idea is who watches the Watchmen, right?
Right.
These people who it's towards that. The Boys are on the way further end of the spectrum, in that here's the extreme version of what, like, those kinds of superheroes who have a corporate sponsorship,
like that's what turns me off.
Would be able to do.
That's fucking turns me off. Like, what fucking Superman has a corporate sponsorship?
But why wouldn't he?
What do you mean?
Think about the world that we live in today. Everything is sponsored, dude. You watch a baseball game.
Yeah,
the pitching change is fucking sponsored.
I know that, but that's a fucking stretch, dude.
It is, but so there's more. There's more to how these people have superpowers, and once again, it would be a spoiler to get into that. Yeah.
Okay, I'll watch it and give it.
It's 8 episodes, dude. It's 8 hours.
It's 8 hours. You should
watch it.
8 hours is a long fucking time.
It's not that long. I watched it. I watched 4 of them on Sunday. Like nothing.
No, I don't. Well, I mean, I will watch it.
Okay,
I will watch it. Which brings us to I didn't. I have to. When's the last time we saw Rocky?
It's been a while, but I mean, a few months. Yeah.
So you want to do the next
show we'll do Rocky.
So you have to watch Rocky then.
Okay.
Because I watched Rocky pretty recently.
Yeah, I could watch it again.
But I have to write my notes down about the hero's journey.
Do you want to talk about? I know you saw Spider-Man. What did you think of the new Spider-Man?
Well, it ruined Endgame for me. Do you have the DVD? I'm assuming you do.
Of Endgame?
Yeah.
Not yet. It's coming out in a few weeks. It's not out yet.
Yes, it is.
No, it's out on digital, but it's not out yet.
Oh, you're waiting for physical copy? That's smart.
I don't buy it on digital. I buy it on...
Don't buy any digital. It's bullshit.
No. I buy the DVD. If it comes to the digital, that's fine. But yeah, yes, it is bullshit. So
yeah,
we should watch Endgame together. But I was bummed when...
Well, listen, when do you want to do that? Because it's not in theaters anymore, I guess.
Nope, it's gone. Yeah, you missed it.
So I can't believe I'm watching Endgame on fucking... Blu-ray.
Dude, I'm going to tell you that
you know what? I don't even have a Blu-ray player other than the PlayStation down here. My upstairs, I don't have a Blu-ray player, which is pretty sad. I could buy it on Apple TV like right now for $20, but I don't trust that. Like, it won't even be mine. as soon as Sony pulls it,
I'll buy
be
Endgame,
good.
and you and I will just watch
we'll come down here and watch it in the bunker.
Like, I wish I had it tomorrow or Sunday because everybody's going away and I'm by myself on Sunday. So I was even like, I should try to come and get you and we should go watch it, but it's not out. You're right. It's just not there anymore.
I guess you can't rent it yet either. So
we could get it on digital, like rent it on digital.
Can't rent it.
You can't? You have to buy it on digital.
Yeah, they give it. There's like a whole month where you can only buy it.
We'll wait for it to come out and we'll figure it out. But
well, yeah. So Spider-Man was spoiled.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that.
I get spoilers. Iron Man dies.
I took my brother-in-law to go see Endgame, and they showed the Spider-Man trailer. And the Spider-Man trailer was ruining it. And I was like...
The trailer in front of the movie, they ruined the movie with the
because they were showing all the imagery of Iron Man being dead. And I'm like...
Motherfucker.
So you knew that was going to happen, but it was a huge... when I saw it, it was a huge shock. But and I'll tell you, Endgame really legitimately, when you talk about fan service and like a real satisfactory way to wrap something up, it's fucking unbelievable. It's unfucking...
So you really... Okay, now wait a minute now.
They will write classes about how to fucking end a 20-movie epic. Dude, the Iliad and the Odyssey are not as epic as what they just achieved.
Oh, wow.
Like,
that's a big claim.
Not even close.
All right, let me
Homer would be envious of what they achieved.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
In 3 years from now, an Iron Man movie comes out.
Okay.
You really think he's dead?
Yeah, no. He's 100% dead.
You don't think this...
So you don't know any details of how he died or why he died?
Yeah.
How do you think he died? This is interesting to me because you don't know.
Well, unfortunately, I saw a photograph.
Okay. So how did he die?
I saw a photograph with him with all the Infinity Stones on his hand. And it looked like he was about to snap his fingers. So I'm assuming he sacrificed himself on some level.
Okay.
Which goes back to a vision he had in Ultron, right?
Yeah, everybody being defeated, and he was kind of, yeah.
Yeah, you could have stopped them or something like that. Cap tells him. And so I guess that vision, he recalls it and sees, well, I don't know, whatever he does. I think, so he sacrifices himself some way. But I'm just saying in terms of, what would you feel like if this? Do you really think
another Iron Man movie with Tony Stark in it?
How would you feel if Disney then just fucking came with some sort of bullshit reason why there would be another Iron Man movie?
I think
you think that.
No, I think there will be. No, I think there will be another Iron Man movie. I don't think it'll have Tony Stark in it. I think Disney.
Oh, so somebody else takes over the
Disney
suit.
Is so fucking smart. They've already built in at least 3 people that could be the next Iron Man.
Right. So, I mean,
they've already mapped out. They've already mapped out the immediate future of the whole.
So it's just the suit.
It is, but there's also the legacy there. I mean, there's a lot of things I can't talk to you about without you seeing Endgame.
Yeah, I guess.
Because even with you seeing Spider-Man, you know the punchline, but you don't know the joke.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, I don't buy that.
But I want to sit with you.
I don't buy that Disney is flushing Iron Man money down
they're
the toilet.
100% not. I mean, even right now, the current Iron Man, I think, is like a black woman. Like, it's not even Iron Man, from my understanding. In the comics.
In the comics.
Yeah.
So he died in the comics too?
I think he just retired in the comics, actually.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
But
I haven't read the Iron Man comics in a long time. He just handed it over because he was just.
You know what? Nothing would upset me. So here's what: have you seen any of the commercials for the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie?
No.
Okay, and they look really good, but they don't look like your typical Joker. Like I'm open to whatever. Give me something different. Like, I don't even care. It wouldn't bother me in the least bit, as long as it was creative. Like, give me a different take. Doesn't upset me in the least bit. And I know Iron Man built DC, the whole thing.
I mean, that's the only thing they got is fucking Batman.
It is, and yet they don't do him well enough, really. They really don't do... I don't think... You know what? I think the Christian Bale stuff was some of the better Batman stuff, yes. But I think...
Batman Begins was a good movie.
I think Batman has become...
Dark Knight was a good movie.
Yeah, no. All of the... Because, dude, look who wrote that stuff, though.
Well,
I mean,
That was what, Nolan?
Nolan. Christopher Nolan is a genius, dude.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, you think about the movies that he wrote before that. You talk about like
New Terminator.
New Terminator. Yeah. How about Last Blood? Have you seen that?
No,
Have you seen the new Top Gun commercial?
No, you know what?
It's just crazy, dude. What's going on right now?
Yeah, I mean, Lisa wants to go to the fucking movie theater. She wants to see it like opening night.
The new Top Gun?
Yeah, it's like it's like her Star Wars.
Dude, I would go for that. I wouldn't even care. I'd be
her
all
Star
in,
Wars. I'm like, all right, we'll go. She wants to go like opening night. She wants to go see the Top Gun movie. And then she proceeded to say how it looks like it's exactly the same fucking movie. Like he's playing volleyball. He's riding a motorcycle. He's like they could, the whole.
Well, why would he change? He's fucking mad.
Well, that's what I said. I said, well, that's who he was. So that's that's not going to change. He played volleyball. He still plays volleyball.
Yeah.
But
so let's talk about this. So let's forget about Endgame. Let's forget about you saw Spider-Man. What did you think of Spider-Man Far From Home?
I thought it was pretty good.
Right.
I thought it was really good. I thought Jake Gyllenhaal was awesome as Mysterio.
It's and Mysterio is one of those characters that when I read in the comics, he's very hard to. I always thought, oh, he's so hard to nail, but they really like that mind bending thing, and then they had a good explanation for why he could do it. I'm like, holy shit, they nailed Mysterio. That's how fucking good Marvel is and Disney. With Disney's resources and Marvel's creativity, it's unbelievable what they can achieve. And you're right, Gyllenhaal comes off of these characters. You really believe that he's a spoiler alert. You believe he's a good guy.
Oh shit!
And then they turn him, and you're like, holy shit, that makes total fucking sense. They all fucking hate Tony Stark. He's a fucking narcissist,
right?
And they're like, oh, he named my technology fart or whatever, yeah. Dude. And it seems stupid, but I could be if that was your shit.
Oh, that's totally Tony,
dude. It would be,
that,
and
yeah.
But he did it in the fucking. But again, that's how smart they are. Like Kevin Feige's like, oh yeah, we'll fucking put this fart shit in here. Maybe not. It's not Feige. It's the writers in the room. But it seems stupid. But you could see a scientist being like, he made my shit fart, dude. And you know what? He pissed this fucker off, and he pissed that fucker off, and he pissed this fucker off, and it was just really good. And then I like the
and then everybody that that got everyone that got shafted by Stark was kind of involved, and then but he starts to go beyond. He crosses the line. Yeah, and then everyone that was helping him starts to realize, whoa, yeah, what do we do?
Yeah, and you can see he's a little bit of an egomaniac.
He's at some point you realize he's acting alone.
Yeah,
but even though there's people some reluctantly helping him, some people are outright helping him, but the majority are reluctantly helping him. I thought it was good. I think Tom Holland's great as Spider-Man.
He's very charismatic. I like him.
Yeah,
and
he's just so young looking too.
And the Mary Jane piece works. Like it's not.
And I still can't believe how hot Aunt May is.
Yeah, well, that's a funny thing. She
gets hotter every fucking.
Have you ever seen the meme though? Like the original Aunt May was like old lady, white hair, and a bun.
Yeah,
and then she became Sally Field, right? Which was like
Sally Field was kind of hot too.
Yeah, she was still hot, like late maybe 50s. Yeah. And then all of a sudden she's fucking Marissa Tomei, and they're like Aunt May in the future. She's like 19 years old. He's his hot 19-year-old aunt.
Yeah, god damn Aunt May.
Yeah,
but if you think about it. It makes more sense for Marissa Tomei. Like that's Aunt May shouldn't have been that old, but that wasn't really his aunt, right?
Yeah.
In the comic, right? She was that was his parents.
Well, that's what didn't make sense. So that's where
parents what?
They started to mess with that.
She's much older. Like she shouldn't like when you're.
What was that? What was that?
I don't know. When you
ever feel like we're down here in a horror movie?
When you're 16, 17 years old, your aunt's hot.
Yeah, maybe.
Right?
I mean,
she doesn't have gray hair and a bun.
But they started to mess with that though, because they became and I wasn't into Spider-Man at the time, but nobody ever questioned, like, so he's living with his Aunt May and his Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben gives him the big speech. Here's my long grain wild rice. Sorry, it's a different Uncle Ben. here with great power comes great responsibility, and he gives him that whole thing, and then he gets killed and blah blah blah. And you're right, he has this older aunt, and then he started saying, well, who were Peter Parker's parents? And then like some writer came in and said Peter Parker's parents were like SHIELD agents.
Yeah.
And then Peter Parker was a clone, and then shit got really fucking weird for a while.
Yes, I don't like that shit.
And then it ends up at Miles Morales.
It doesn't
at some point.
It doesn't have to be that way.
No, I mean, I think it's an interesting...
Miles Morales.
Yeah, Miles Morales.
Miles Morales.
He's pretty much the current Spider-Man right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't read the
you
comic
watched
in
Into the
years.
Spider-Verse, didn't you?
Yeah.
That was Miles Morales.
That was a different universe.
Allegedly.
No, not allegedly. It was a different universe.
Depends on where you're standing, though.
No, it's not where you're standing.
And there's a comic where Miles Morales is a Spider-Man.
Yes, but the universe that we're in has Peter Parker.
Yeah, you're right.
And, we were talked about that one other time, and I realized how stupid I was when I mentioned that. I was like, "Was Peter Parker dead?" And then you mentioned they had blonde hair.
Yeah, and that was like the world
did
we were in.
Not only did he have blonde hair, but Dr. Octavius was a woman. It's a different universe.
That's what I'm saying. So you're sitting there.
I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
But they retconned. Dude, how genius is that, though? They retconned the fucking movie that you're in to be like what I'm watching. But do you feel cheated because you're watching a movie that's in a different universe?
No, because it's a different universe.
Yeah. So, because one of the things they announced at Comic-Con about all this Marvel shit was there's a What If cartoon that's going to be on the D+ platform. Remember What If, the comics?
No.
It was like a whole, what if Wolverine had killed the Hulk? What if Thor was a woman? What if? And this ability to, it was the Watcher saying, let's explore this realm of infinite possibilities. Let's explore, what if something stupid happened, There was a story where Wolverine was dispatched to stop the Hulk when he was rampaging through Canada. What if Wolverine killed him? And what would that mean? What if Wolverine was a vampire lord? There was crazy shit, but it was this ability to play with the characters and not change the overall canon of the world. They're doing that now. In addition to a Wanda and Vision show and a Hawkeye show, Winter Soldier and Falcon show, all on D+. And they announced a bunch of other shit too. Doctor Strange 2 in the Dimension of Madness and all kinds of crazy shit. So,
Doctor Strange. I like Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange was really good. When you think about when he was made in the 60s and he was all about it was very just trippy stories, right? It was all about, it was the acid culture in the 60s, and that's who was reading it, and just Doctor Strange doing all this crazy stuff. Very entertaining stuff. I have an Doctor Strange omnibus that I read. It's got a lot of really trippy old stories, and it's just mind-bending stuff. Silver Surfer too, the same kind of thing, right? Silver Surfer's out in the fucking universe dealing with some fucking alien culture that's fucking weird and trippy.
I didn't read a lot of him.
I read a little bit. It wasn't my thing either. But
I should whip out my Iron Man omnibus. Never read it.
Yeah.
It's freaking sitting in my right outside over there. It's just sitting there. It's freaking huge. But I haven't read it. I gotta read it.
Yeah. It's I never read Iron Man either, but he's an interesting character. And they've that's the power of the Avengers. I didn't really give a fuck about the Avengers. I was more into X-Men when I was reading comics. I wasn't really into the Avengers.
I was an X-Men guy too. I liked X-Men.
But they made me care about those characters. And the one person I did like was I always liked
Spider-Man. I always liked Spider-Man.
Spider-Man too. I collected Spider-Man and I always liked Captain America. I
never liked Captain America.
I don't know.
I was a Hulk guy, and I was a Spider-Man guy.
Yeah, I'm 100% team.
A little bit of Wolverine.
I love Wolverine.
I gotta
Wolverine's
pee
my
again.
guy. You gotta pee?
Can I pause this a second?
Yeah, let's pause it and we'll come back.
1 second.
And we're back.
Are we back?
And Nick's bladder is empty.
My bladder is empty. I don't know
pee.
What's wrong with me.
I don't know. You have the bladder of a hamster.
I have 2 beers and I'm running to the bathroom. Are you
a 2 beer queer?
I think I am.
You might be.
It's embarrassing.
We're gonna get you a T-shirt. Can you wear that? I don't think you wear that in public.
Queer?
Not in polite company.
No.
I would be okay if you wore your 2 beer queer T-shirt. Wouldn't bother me. I wouldn't judge either.
You wouldn't judge me?
I wouldn't judge you.
No, that's offensive.
That's not offensive. This is a safe space.
Oh, here it's a safe space,
Is
but
it?
outside outside isn't safe. That's why we have a bunker. Just keep us safe from all the fucking. Did you see the asteroid that just barely missed us?
No.
It passed between.
Again?
Yeah.
Wow.
You didn't read that?
No, I didn't.
It passed between us and the fucking moon.
I did read something. I won't bring it up now. In a minute.
It passed between us and the moon.
How big was this asteroid?
Several. It wasn't Earth ending, but it was like country destroying size. If it would have landed in the middle of the U.S., we would have been.
But the funny
fucked.
thing is, I think astrophysicists are nervous Nellies because if you
nervous Nellies.
Well, just think about so the universe is so vast.
Right.
There's all this shit floating around, right?
Tons of shit.
The probability of something impacting with us of significance is
pretty good.
I don't know about that. I would say astronomical.
Have you seen the moon? Have you looked at the moon through a telescope and seen all the holes on it?
But they would say that those holes on the moon are not based on collisions post Big Bang, but collisions from the Big Bang.
No.
Yeah, that's what I heard. No. There may have been a period of time when there was a vast amount of debris from the Big Bang that pelted many, many planets in our solar system to cause many of the divots that you're talking about. But that for the most part, those weren't done over time.
Jupiter pulls in a lot of debris. If it wasn't for Jupiter, we'd be fucked.
Jupiter?
We would be fucked if it wasn't for Jupiter.
Now that you're back in the atmosphere.
Jupiter pulls in a lot of crap that flies through our solar system.
Jupiter is 10 times the size of Earth.
Yeah, maybe bigger now.
It's huge.
It's huge.
Actually might be one of the biggest planets. It might be the biggest planet in our solar system. Yeah. So statistically speaking, and also what it's made out of and gravity.
It's a
and
gas.
all those
It's
things.
a gas planet.
Gas giant.
Gas giant. But
maybe not gas giant. That's a star. But anyways, yes.
No, it's a gas. It's a gas.
It is predominantly made of gas.
They don't call it giants. I don't know. But it's, I don't think there's a surface on Jupiter.
Nobody knows. Yeah. I think because of the atmosphere. I would agree.
Yeah. I agree.
I concur.
I concur.
So, you know what I want to talk about?
I'm just saying that
I don't know.
There's a lot of shit there's too much shit. We can't track it all. And we don't really even know. There could be asteroids whose orbit has a period that's freaking 2,000 years, let's say. We wouldn't know. Yeah. We wouldn't even know.
He said asteroid. Yeah. Asteroid.
No, because it comes back around once every 2,000 years, so we have no idea it fucking exists. It's not, and then it just comes in and it's like, what the fuck is this thing? And where's it going? And how fast is it going? What direction is it in? You got to start doing all these calculations to see if it's going to hit us.
But I think it's easy
this one was close.
But I think it's easy to overwhelm yourself with everything that you just thought about and not to say, statistically speaking, if the variable of space and the vastness of space.
The space is tremendously
vast. It's endless, yes. Right?
That's what mostly empty.
Yes. Mostly empty. So I would say 85% of the time shit happens and nobody fucking cares, right?
But it had in the past like 5 to 10 years, how many near Earth misses have you heard about? At least 2, right?
But maybe just because we couldn't see them before.
But there's 2 near Earth misses, right? At least that I can remember. One was pretty close.
Well, how close is this one? Isn't that subjective?
This one's between us and the moon.
Okay, well that's cool.
It's closer than the moon.
Yeah, it's like being sideswiped.
Right.
Well, good then. We're good for another 100 years at least.
Why is that?
Because statistically, if one came that close, then what's the chances of another one coming that close?
Pretty good. There's tons of fucking.
This is why we're doomsday doopy though.
We don't know what's out there. We have no fucking idea.
So let's talk about Woodstock 50 really quick because have you heard that Woodstock? Is it 50?
50?
Is it the 50th anniversary of Woodstock?
Yeah, I think so.
So we talked a while back about how you were like, I want to go to Woodstock. Have you heard the saga?
Well, I was buying tickets but I didn't know who was playing. And so we were like, I'm not going to spend. And at the time they were like hundreds of dollars for a ticket. And I said, we're really going to spend that and not even know who's there. And the only thing I was hearing was like, I don't know, Katy Perry and stuff. I was like, I don't want to go to that. And I'm not going to take 2 days off of work or a day off of work because they take the good bands and spread them out over several days. They pull shit like that.
Yeah,
So I'm
of course. Yeah, you get like a headline.
It's not fucking worth it. So we didn't buy any tickets. Are they even for sale?
So the show started to fall apart. It's funny.
I heard it was canceled.
I saw the
last thing I
whole
heard.
thing happen over the course of my Amazon over the past couple of weeks. So the show started to fall apart, and then they were talking about giving the tickets away for free to get people to come.
Wow, that's bad right there if you have to give tickets away.
And then literally 3 days later, it was like, the show's canceled. It's not happening.
So it's not even happening.
It's not going to happen.
How pathetic is
it? It
that?
fell apart.
How pathetic is that?
And it fell apart for a bunch of reasons from what I could tell. Predominantly greed.
Greed. Probably
was
greed.
Really, first and foremost, why it fell apart, in my opinion.
That says everything. Right?
It does.
Explains exactly where we are.
If it doesn't have a profit, nobody wants to pursue it. It's not worth.
And how could it? And think about it. How could it not have a profit? How could Woodstock 50 not have a profit?
I mean, there's a way to do it where it shouldn't not have a profit and still be a good thing.
How could it be?
But it was I think it was mismanaged because people were too busy looking for a payday instead of. The spirit. This is what I was getting at when we talked a while back. The spirit of
all they had to do was go after like 20 bands and say, "Do you want to be on Woodstock 50? And how much do you want?"
But no,
and then they get how much they want. Get the dollar amount that they want.
We're doing Woodstock.
Then divide it by the number of people they think are going to come and charge that much for the tickets, and you're done.
We're doing Woodstock 50. Who wants to be involved? Period. And forget about prices. But they started to charge
who wants to be involved? And then how much do you want? And then we could figure out what the prices are going to be.
But everybody wanted too much. Remember, the original Woodstock, people volunteered to go to that. Many of those artists didn't get paid.
Well, some of them hadn't really made it big quite yet.
And that show made them make it big, right? But now when you're trying to bring big people in, everything is backwashed. You're doing everything backwards. You have Katy Perry coming to do Woodstock. Well, fucking Katy Perry has no benefit from Woodstock except for a fucking payday. So of course she wants X amount of money, which means the promoters have to charge X amount of money.
Who the hell wants her there anyway? Between you and me, but
nobody that would have attended the original Woodstock. The answer is no.
And I find it hard to believe that Foo Fighters did Cisco Live and they won't do fucking Woodstock.
They got paid a lot of money to do Cisco Live.
Well, I'm sure they got paid the same amount for Woodstock 50. Don't you think?
Maybe.
Or maybe a little bit less. Let's say a little bit less. You're in Woodstock 50. You're in fucking Woodstock.
Yeah. I just don't know that if it has that gravitas anymore. Woodstock, right? I don't think it does. I think the word is there, but I don't think it means the same. And it doesn't mean the same in our culture anymore. It's because it's a bunch of corporate people looking for a fucking payday and a bunch of artists looking for a fucking payday instead of what was it? 4 days of love and music and peace and love. It's a different. It doesn't fit. You know what it is? It's a fucking time traveler, dude. It's a fucking person that gets in a time capsule and travels here from 1960 and it's like, hey, peace, love, and fucking buttercups, and everybody's like, get the fuck out of here, dude. And that's unfortunate, but that's why it didn't work. Even in the 90s, it was something different than the original. It is really sad.
It's really, that's really, I mean, I heard that it was like off, but I kind of like didn't believe it. It's really completely off the table.
It's done. The picture that I have on my Amazon show in my house was a really sad looking hippie walking away from some woods. And I'm like, Woodstock canceled. And I was like, oh, that hippie looks really sad.
I mean, maybe it's a good thing. Fuck them. Fuck them. They don't.
It really was corporate. It was corporate greed taking advantage of hippie mentality, and certain people would have paid for that to some degree, but they couldn't even get their shit together.
I don't think it's hippie. I mean, there is, I guess, an element of that, but I mean, it's just go to a show and listen to good music. I mean, that's and I alluded to this last time we were talking, and I said I was talking about Billy Corgan that was mentioning that, and we were talking about Nirvana. I'm not going to bring it up too much, but
you want to.
Yeah, I know I do want to. But he it has to do with going to a show and wanting to see the band instead of going there. And I want to hear these two songs, you know. And Billy Corgan said that, you know, they used to do shows where, you know, you would just jam for 20 minutes. It would be no song. It would just be them just fucking jamming. And fans of music and fans of the band would be there going, oh, well, you know, this is amazing. They're just going, like, you know, like the last Foo Fighters show I went to, Taylor Hawkins had, I think, I couldn't tell how many minutes it was, but it had to be more than 5 minutes, a drum solo. And I guarantee you people, they were like fucking like, oh, what the fuck? When's he going to stop? Drum
solos are not an easy thing to listen to.
No, this one was pretty sick.
Was it like a Tommy Lee drum solo?
I left.
Did they turn him upside down over the crowd?
I left there saying that Taylor Hawkins he's one of the best drummers ever.
But he's the second best drummer in that band.
What do you mean?
Taylor Hawkins is the second best drummer in the Foo Fighters.
No.
Come on, dude.
No.
Come on. Dave Grohl is a drummer.
Dave Grohl's a great drummer, but technically, I mean, you talk to a drummer, like purists, like a jazz drummer or something, and they'll be like, oh, Dave Grohl has no idea what he's doing. But that's, you know, okay, that's their opinion, but it's they're entitled to it, and maybe musically or classically, he's way off base when it comes to percussion, but I don't see it. I think he's a fantastic drummer. Taylor Hawkins is way better on drums than Dave Grohl is. That solo was, I couldn't believe it. I was sitting watching it. My jaw was open. I was like, what the fuck? But I guarantee you that not everybody was into it.
Solos are gratuitous.
No.
All solos are gratuitous.
No.
They really are. They're self-gratifying and they're gratuitous.
Nope.
No?
No way.
I disagree.
No. It depends. There are some that are, but
I think drum solos are just really fucking tough to listen to, dude. It would have to be truly artistic and different. I've heard so many drum solos, and they all fucking sound just self-gratifying and just gratuitous. Just
no, it was like,
yeah, we get it. You're good.
No,
you can play the drums. We get it.
No, it wasn't like that. Wasn't like that.
You're amazing.
Yeah, no, you listen to a Neil Peart drum solo and it's like, look how fast my legs go. All right.
It was every Tommy Lee fucking drum solo.
Yeah, no.
It's fucking gratuitous.
No, it was like here, like the song, it was in the middle of a song. So the song was, I forget what song was it. Fuck, what song was it? Shit. I forget what song it was. But they were in the middle of a song and, you know, one of the things the Foo Fighters are great at is drama.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be music and there'll be a middle of a song and then there'll be like a quiet moment in the music. And if you listen to the album, that quiet moment lasts 5-6 seconds. But live.
Hold on.
Who's that?
What I wanted to do.
And live, it'll last like a minute.
Okay.
You know, like what's the song? Is it called All My Life? All my life I've been looking for something, and it's just like yeah, right. I've never been to hesitate. Right. Okay.
Me down.
Yeah, exactly. That song, great song. And then, but at one point, that song goes back to and it goes back to that, and he'll do that for like a minute. And everyone just starts losing their minds because the song was just going crazy. Now he's just going, and he's walking around the stage, just like looking at people like, it was kind of like that. Taylor Hawkins just goes into this drum solo, and he's just, all right. And then the groove changes and he's just doing, check out this groove. And he's just doing this. I'm like, oh, that's a cool groove. And he's going. And it's a type of, it's not like, blah, 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 blah. It's a groove. He's playing a groove.
All right.
And then all of a sudden, within the same time signature, new groove. And it's like, oh, look at this groove. And then like you're dancing to this
the
groove.
Rhythm of the song.
but all the instruments like died out. And then he's going, and as he's doing this, the drum thing starts going up, starts raising over the stage, and he just starts playing, and then he kills another groove, and then he plays another groove, then he's playing a groove, then he starts going a little nuts, just blah, 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 he starts going like crazy, making these crazy like just fucking fills, like just like 2-minute fills of just fucking banging on cymbals and stuff. Then he goes back into another groove, and he's just banging, and you're just looking at him like, when's he gonna pass out? I mean, he's red, he's sweating. It's like, when's he going to pass out? And he goes for another 2 minutes and then blasts into another song. And the song just starts. Everyone's just going crazy. I'm like, this is fucking amazing. But that's dead in today's music. That's dead. That doesn't exist.
Well, it's dead also in a way because that's like a jam band thing where they like go into a song, they go through the song, you have this weird solo. Most of the time it's guitar solos. It's not... Drum solos are way rarer because they're, I mean, look, percussion is one of those things where I think maybe that's why I can't get into it. It's not like, I understand the necessity of rhythm in music, right? It's obviously dramatically important, but at the same time, it's not always pleasing to the ear.
This was musical.
And it could
what
sound
you're saying is, I understand what you're saying.
Like
it's not
just pounding, you know,
it's rhythmic, but not musical.
Yeah, exactly. It's important, but it's
this was musical drumming.
It's not like, you know, I don't know. I have my own take on.
You would have enjoyed it.
Maybe you're probably right.
It was musical drumming. It was music, and it was kind of like, wow, you know, and there were some bass solos, and there were some guitar solos, and they were like
bass solos are tough too, though, dude.
Bass solos are fun. Bass solos are fun. I like a good bass solo.
It's just you really have to appreciate.
Les Claypool. Do you think fucking Les Claypool slap a bass, man?
I love Les. And I love
the man can slap a bass.
You want to talk about fire hose, like Mike Watt stuff. Like I love Mike Watt. It's amazing.
Okay,
but it's just bass. It's hard to listen to a bass solo because you are so limited, and it's not, don't have a lot, and it's in such a lower spectrum of sound. Yeah, and it's like, okay, what can I do with? And you're right, the truly gifted people can do a lot with it. And Les Claypool is a whole
slapping and popping,
another fucking level nut job, right?
He is out of his mind.
But and I love him, but it's hard. I mean, I would say 90.
Did you ever hear his band Sausage?
I've heard Sausage.
Sausage is freaking great.
You ever hear Les Claypool's Flying Frog Brigade?
No.
That's
I'm downloading it immediately.
He had a jam band with it was him. Oh fuck, who was it? The drummer from the Police.
Really?
And somebody else, and it was the Flying Frog Brigade.
He's fucking great.
He's fucking nuts.
He's fucking
great. And I'm a huge I loved Primus. I saw Primus 3 times. Primus is
Primus sucks.
Unbelievable. They totally suck. You got to grab yourself a can of pork soda.
But Sausage,
you'll be doing just fine.
But Sausage is mediocre.
That's good too. So, well, then I guess the Flying Frog Brigade must be fucking amazing.
I saw him at Roseland, and then it was like after the third song, he's like, "Primus sucks," and then he goes, "But Sausage is mediocre." And he started. I mean, the first song he played like a couple of licks, and then the song broke in, and then I found myself in the middle of a mosh pit, and I was on the floor. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
I would say my Primus mosh pit experience is probably one of the most intense mosh pits I've ever did.
Yeah,
dude, My Name is Mud came on in the 90s, and I thought I was going to get killed, dude.
Yeah. You like yeah.
That bass line, dude.
It's like, what the fuck is he doing?
Korn was the next bass line I ever heard like that I thought, someone is going to fucking die, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like and he's fucking. But it goes back to, you would go to Woodstock, and a band would just jam for like 10-15 minutes, and no one would complain. No one would be upset that they weren't playing the song they heard on the radio yesterday. And I think that's dead or dying. I hope it's coming back, but You know,
I mean, it ends up being real fans, though. Like I said, the weird thing about the Pearl Jam, and we kind of touched it, was
I fucking hate the last Pearl Jam show I went to was just awful.
No, me too. But people love Pearl Jam, and what Pearl Jam has become is this kind of jam band-esque, and the real fans fucking love it, dude. And they love that they don't necessarily always play they don't play any of the popular.
That wasn't why I didn't like that wasn't why I didn't like the show. I went there. Lisa wanted to go, and we went, and I was like, okay. I mean, I thought, like I said, 10 is one of the best albums of all time, I think.
Yeah.
One of
How
them.
many 10 songs did you hear?
Like two.
Yeah.
2 or 3.
They don't play 10 anymore.
They
no.
hardly play any 10 songs. But that's fine. I would have been fine with them jamming. Just don't play any songs of Vitology.
Well,
because that fucking album sucks.
You have Mike McCready.
And then the other album they came out with also
Gossard.
sucks. So it's like you're play 2. I would have been happy if they played 2 10 songs and then just jammed the rest of the night. I would have been happy.
Did he play?
Where did my
baby be?
No, I don't think. I don't know. They didn't play that.
It was terrible, dude. That's a terrible.
They didn't play it, thankfully. But they like not even a cover song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love a good cover song. I fucking love a cover song.
It tells me what you're about by doing what song you cover.
Right.
Yeah.
It's and it's kind of like sometimes you listen to like an old cover. And that you heard like the last, like even like sometimes when someone will play like a Ramones cover and you listen to Ramones album and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, this is good music. And then you'll go and then you'll see like a modern band cover a Ramones song. And you're like, all of a sudden you're like, oh,
yeah,
I now I get this song.
Well, dude,
because the song is like live and it's punching you in the face and it's like, oh, this song is powerful.
I'll give you
and it's like the song saying, it's like the band saying, oh, you know that little dinky song you hear on the radio? Well, here it is. But this is what it really sounds like. And then they hit you in the face with it. Let
me give you more than that, though, dude. So, and this is why you and I need to go to New Orleans, because one of the Nevilles, he just passed away. We went to a show. He called it Zigaboo Modesto, and it was just a bunch of people that he threw together to do a show, and they were just playing whatever they wanted to play. And the thing that I loved was it was just what was turning them on creatively at the time. And they would just start playing, and they started playing this song, and it evolved into, over the course of a couple minutes, Stevie Wonder's Living for the City.
This is what I'm talking about.
And I was like, holy shit, dude. And you're like
what the
I
fuck
forgot
is this song?
how fucking good
the song is.
Yeah. And there's something they're playing, and all of a sudden you hear the song start to develop, and all of a sudden you can just tell somebody's dropping the bass line, and then the guitarist picks up on it and he goes, holy shit. And it's like, a child is born in small town Mississippi, surrounded by a world that ain't so pretty. Yeah. And you're like, holy shit, dude, they're doing fucking Stevie Wonder. And you're like, I know this fucking song. It evolved in front of you, and the art of what they were doing evolved in front of you. You're like, holy shit. And it's like, living just enough,
I think I'm trying to remember who it was, and it blew my fucking mind. I forget what band it was, though. I don't know if it was Stone Temple Pilots, or I think I want to say I heard it in Roseland, in the city, and which is one of the best venues to listen to a band. I wish I remember who it was. They played Johnny Be Good.
Yeah. Holy
fuck. It was like, and it was like, wait a minute, is this? And then they just kept playing, and then, but when the bass kicked in and the drums, you pounding on the drums, I was like, this is a fucking rock song. Yeah. Like, you listen to it, it's an oldie. I mean, listen to it on the radio, it's an oldie song. Mm-hmm. But in that moment, it was a rock song. And I was like, holy shit, this song rocks. It like blew everyone away with, again, like one of the things that I like about rock music is it's so powerful, you know?
Yeah.
And this song was a hard, distorted guitar fucking rock song. And then you're listening to it, and then you go, well, when Chuck Berry played that live, did it sound a little bit like that? And then you go, well, even if it sounded a little bit like that,
Well, Marty McFly played it on
It
that
was
stage at the Enchantment.
Yeah,
of the Sea
but that
Dance.
was like
and then your
live,
brother,
it's different.
Marvin.
But
Hey,
it
Chuck,
was different.
It's your cousin,
it was
Marvin.
fucking different.
Marvin Berry. You know that new sound you've been looking for? I think I found it.
It was different. And then you think to yourself, like when the song is like in the mid song, and you find yourself, you're like dancing to it almost, like, and you're grooving to it, and the place is rocking, and you're like, wait a minute. This song's in the 60s. This song is fucking 60 years old, 50 years old.
Yeah. But that's no different than like in the 90s. Remember, like Brian Setzer and all these people, they brought all this big band shit back. Like it was this bigger sound that it had a familiarity, and that's what ends up hooking you is that familiarity. That's the power of cover songs is the familiarity hooks you in. I
fucking love cover
songs. Where you get all these gratuitous like, here's my song I wrote about my old girlfriend, and you're like, oh Jesus Christ, here we go. This is a song from my new album. You're like, wah, wah. I'm like, no, just play a fucking cover song and let me know what you're about or what you guys are into. Like it tells me who you are.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that you guys all got together and learned Johnny Be Good and learned and practiced it together, or whatever,
that
tells me a lot.
You know what? Surprise me with something that I haven't heard a million times. Like, okay, everybody's done the Ramones, everybody's done this. Do the fucking Stiffs. Oh, here's a Stiffs song.
Right.
Oh shit.
Oh,
Jesus, I didn't know you knew anything about them.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. That's the joy of the covers. And I even try to.
I saw a whole do Penny Royalty.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
They headlined that night. That was like, I don't know if that was the last night or if they were the last band. I don't know if it was a Friday night or Saturday night.
I hold that akin to a Tarantino movie too, though, with the soundtracks in those movies. When you talk about like Al Green, Let's Stay Together. I mean, that's a great song. Obviously, Al Green. You don't know this one?
Maybe if I heard it, I don't know by title.
I'm so in love with you, whatever you want me to.
Oh yes, okay, yeah,
right.
Okay. I didn't know that was the name of the song.
The Reverend Al. It's amazing, vocally amazing song, right? Mm-hmm. But he took it, and you forgot how good that song was, and he brought it back to like relevance in his movie because he put it in a scene that's also iconic, and you're like, holy fuck, that's an amazing song. And it's not just that; it's Reservoir Dogs too. It's Jackie Brown to some degree. Most of his movies have a pretty amazing soundtrack, or definitely eclectic at the very least. But the first few, it brings this song back. Like holy shit, just like Sylvester Stallone. Not Sylvester Stallone.
Eye of the Tiger.
John Travolta's career.
Survivor, baby.
Yes. But anyway, speaking of which, we're going to do the Rocky show is next.
Yes.
It's unavoidable.
Yes.
We're going to do it
next.
Nick he wants to talk 3 hours to you guys about Rocky 1.
No.
And then I'm going to get 15 minutes about the rest of them.
Not 3 hours, just
2 hours and 15 minutes.
I just want to cover kind of just what makes Rocky great.
Okay.
And then you can kind of see that either missing in the subsequent movies or kind of hastily pieced together. You talk about greed for Woodstock.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not much different. It's very much the same thing. You have a screenplay from somebody who's kind of like pours his heart out onto the page to someone who now has been given the opportunity to make another one, and he puts his heart into that one too. And then as it's going on, it's like, okay, let's make a buck. And it starts to become obvious, and it does us, I think, a disservice on some levels, because it's no longer it's no longer as visceral. As Rocky. Rocky was a visceral movie. It just was.
Are we doing the Rocky show right now?
Nope.
No, we should
No,
start.
I'm just saying.
All right. Well, we should start saying our goodbyes.
We should, right?
I think we should, because we've been recording for actually quite.
Well, I you know what it was?
What?
I went to the bathroom.
You went to the bathroom?
And I'm emptied, and I feel good. Emptied.
Okay.
So,
well, we'll keep talking after we turn the mics off.
I guess we could.
We should.
Yeah. All right.
Can I play?
I don't want to bore everybody with it.
Can I play before we go?
We've been doing a lot of. We should if we're going to be doing iPad audio,
We need to run it in.
Hey, we should be running it in.
We should.
Yeah. I
just
mean,
wanna
it's
play-
like, what did we play before? We played a quote by somebody, and
Maya Angelou, I think.
This is what I'm going to do, okay?
Here, I'm going to play my favorite Ramones song.
we're gonna get kicked off YouTube.
Nope.
Teenage lobotomy.
My favorite.
Now, if you heard that fucking song, if you heard that song live, you'd fucking shit your pants.
Oh no, I bet I would.
That's what I'm saying. And we need more of that.
No, we need punk rock. I just don't know what the punk rock is going to be now.
Well, CBGB's is closed how many years?
Well, I mean, it was Orange County, dude, for the longest time too. You think about New York, but there was a whole Southern California thing that was also punk rock. And there was even another explosion in the 90s of punk rock when you talk about Pennywise and Buck 09 and there's like and ska and it was a whole fucking explosion. What is punk? I fucking love the Boss Tones. Fucking Dickie Betts is God.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
Unbelievable voice. And you love punk because it's, like you said, it's visceral. It's fucking your fucking balls hanging out, fucking just grinding out the three chords that you know.
Rancid in the 90s.
If you want to listen to a great album, listen to Out Come the Wolves.
Yeah,
it's a great album. And the funny thing is, my kid plays WWE, and one of the songs they play on, there's like 2 Rancid songs on the WWE soundtrack that they listen to. I just love that.
I saw them live. That was a fucking show.
I saw Tim Armstrong a couple times. Yeah, I wish I had seen Operation Ivy.
I saw Pennywise and Rancid live.
Yeah,
they Rancid were fucking amazing, both of them.
Unbelievable.
Brohim, I think it was Lollapalooza. Brohim, like what, 100,000 people?
Yeah,
with Brohim playing. Fucking, damn, great song.
Brohim. Why do I not know the?
You know it. As soon as you play, but yeah. Let's close out.
Let's close out with a little bit of Rancid.
Brohim. No, that's Brohim is Pennywise.
Oh, Pennywise. Okay. Bro.
It's about his friend who died.
Oh yeah, it's what's his name? The guy the bassist that died.
A couple of their friends died. I think it was a car accident or something, or a plane accident. I don't know, something Nichols. This song's All
right, here we go. Pennywise. So just so you guys know, we're back and we're better than ever.
We should karaoke.
No,
this is your karaoke.
Apologies.
This is your karaoke fucking acumen.
Here, we're the opposite of Nirvana. You remember how those cocksuckers said all apologies? What else can I be? No apologies.
I don't remember apologizing for anything.
No, we apologize every time. Somebody told me stop apologizing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Fuck these motherfuckers.
I don't remember apologizing. But
wasabi peas.
I believe it if we did. I don't know. There's a lot about the show I don't remember.
Wasabi peas, bitches. Here you go.
Okay.
Pennywise, bro, him.
That's it. Cut off the YouTube video.
There's an epidemic spreading.
Bro, him? This is
Sorry, commercial. It's a commercial.
It's a fucking commercial.
2, 1, skip the ad.
Gotta make money. You know this song. I'm going to play the whole song and get away with it. What do you think?
This is Pennywise's big song.
It's an anthem. You recognize it right from the bass line.
Whoa!
Yeah. I fucking love this song. Can you imagine this at Randall's Island in New York?
People get killed.
Yeah. All right, folks. Doomsday Doobie-Doo. I don't know. Tell a friend. Leave a review.
Go fuck yourself.
Nice. Thanks.
Oi, 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 oi.